Hi, my name is Moe Jeudy-Lamour. I play Thierry Zoreaux on Ted Lasso, and am having a blast with Elias on the Man Cave.
Mo, welcome to the cave.
Thanks for having me, man.
What's new with you on your end?
Everything's good, Los Angeles. It's been super hot for the last few weeks, so
So man, it's like some people know you from Ted Lasso, Apple TV Plus, and it's coming out Friday night. But the viewers and listeners will hear this interview a few days later. Man, it's been an exciting time for you.
yeah, it's been absolutely crazy 2 weeks.
Yeah, with a lot of promotion. I saw that
Yeah,
on your Instagram. You had a
yeah,
lot of promotion out there.
it's been crazy. It was so fun. Right now, some of the cast are in London, and then some are in New York, also promoting.
Oh wow.
Yep.
So yeah, before we jump onto the show, man, I mean, one of my I usually like to start off my interview with like to trying to get to know you a little bit more, like how do you got into the acting world and everything. But you grew up in Montreal, right?
Yeah, that's it. Born and raised in Montreal, and then I was in university, played football, and then like American football, and then I worked at a place like the equivalent of Best Buy,
Okay.
and I saw a guy walking in with like a super dope style. I was like, who the hell is that guy? And then it's Orlando Jones. And
Oh
I'm like, what
wow.
the hell? So then we start talking, and he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, what are you filming? And he tells me the director's name, and I'm like, oh yeah, I love that director. He did this and that and that. And then he was like, how do you know that? I'm like, well, I watch a lot of movies. I love that, but like I don't think it's like really possible to become an actor, because everybody tells you that. And then he was like, that's not true, man. Look at me, like that's what I'm doing. So like you should just try to do it. I don't know how it was the business in Montreal, but I know in Vancouver it's super busy and there's not a lot of black dudes, so you should go there. So then that same summer, I just moved to Vancouver for a month, had a blast there, loved it, loved acting, fell in love with it. I was like, okay, yeah, this is exactly what I need to be doing. When I came back to Montreal, I booked like I got an agent, and then I was on X-Men like maybe a summer after that. So it was
Wow.
like, it just blew up. It was great.
So you mentioned you were in the university. Like, what were you studying at first? What was the goal at first?
I was in political science. I was going to do political science and then try to go into law. But then I realized I was like, for me, I can't do a 9 to 5. Like it's just not for me. I'm not able to.
Yeah. So and you mentioned you played football. Did you ever have like a dream, maybe like trying to come in the NFL, or what was
Yeah,
the
for sure. Absolutely. I
yeah.
wanted to play professionally. And then also then I realized I was like, I don't want to get hit all day, every day, you know? And
Yeah.
then just acting and just the movie industry has been my passion since I was like a kid. My brother and I, we used to watch at least 3 movies a day for decades.
Yeah. So when you were like doing the university and everything, like I assume you did the acting on the side for lessons, or did you switch your major over right to acting?
No, it was towards the end of it too. So like
Oh
when I
wow.
moved, it was already done. Yeah, I was done. And then I was like, okay, yeah, this is what I want to do. And I don't want to do anything else. And so I just jumped in it without a plan B.
Oh wow. So you did take acting lessons though.
I did. Yeah, I still do. I feel like
Yeah.
it's like the gym. It's like you always have to stay in shape for that.
Yeah. So would you what was like one of the first gigs you got? I know you mentioned X-Men, but what was like one of the first things you worked on?
I did a few French things in Montreal. And then I think my first like big thing, I think it was yeah, it was I think it was X-Men. I think
Wow.
my first big one. Yeah, yeah.
That's
It was
pretty exciting. And you in the business, and right away you get X-Men.
it was completely crazy, completely insane. I was like,
Yeah.
my first day, it was the first day of the script too. So it was everybody was on there. It was Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Halle Berry, Hugh Jackman. Um, uh, um, I'm not sure if it's Aaron Ashmore or his brother because they're
Mm.
twins. It's one of the two. And then yeah, it was just absolutely insane. But it was such a good experience. Jennifer Lawrence also, like
Wow.
Nicholas
Yeah.
Hoult. It was it was so crazy.
Like
Such a surreal experience.
what was going through your mind during like that? Like did you have, were you nervous or like
Completely, yeah. And
yeah.
the cool thing is that there was a French actor called Omar Sy who's on it, who plays Lupin, in the TV show. So he was on set too because he was playing Bishop, and then so we started speaking French, and I was like, "Yo, are you okay?" Like, like he's like, "Yo, bro, I am so nervous right now, I could throw up." I was like, "Oh wow," we bonded right away.
So how did you get over the nerves?
I didn't. I just used it.
Yeah.
I think that's like one of the best things to just use whatever circumstances you're in.
Wow.
You know?
Wow. And then you had a show out in Montreal after a while too, right? Or in Canada, you filmed, right?
Yeah, I did. It was it was the equivalent of Orange is the New Black,
Okay.
and I played one of the prison guards.
Oh wow.
It was a fun show. It was cool. It was cool. It was cool while it lasted.
Yeah. So now, do you still like reside in Canada and you just travel back and forth, or have you made the move to LA?
No, yeah, I moved to LA 4 years ago, so I've been here
Wow.
for a little while. But then it's like at least a year and a half. I've been to the UK to film Ted Lasso. So
Yeah. Because I've had other Canadian actors on, and they like to still live in Canada to just do the traveling.
yeah, a lot of my buddies they do that. They live in either Toronto or Vancouver, and they love it. But I'm like, for me right now, Los Angeles is great. I love
Yeah.
to be at a coffee shop and then just having coffee, and then I hear people next to me talking about movies and stuff like that. I feel like in other cities it rarely happens, but I'm so passionate about it. I love it so much that if I could just hear people talk about movies, or I talk about movies with people, I feel like there's not a lot of cities where you can do that. So for me right now, I'm loving it. But maybe I don't know what it's going to be like in 5 or 10 years. Maybe I'll be like, yeah, I don't want to hear that anymore.
I'm sure you don't miss the weather in Montreal.
Yeah, that's a fact. That is a fact. The snow, the cold, all of it is too intense. Everything over there is too intense. I'm very happy to be here.
So yeah, but Ted Lasso, how exciting has this project been for you? And tell us about how you got the role.
I did a movie with Jason 7 years ago, so we already had a kind of like a relationship. And so like for me, just being on set with a buddy of mine is like such a blast. Like even from season one, it was just so cool to be with a friend, and he's like creating the show and all of that. So we talk about it all the time, and then we also play a lot of video games together. So we play FIFA all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the whole experience has been insane. Like I'm from Montreal, I live in Los Angeles, and then I'm in the UK to film something. So it's like, it's so different from everything else, but I love it. Like I made a lot of friends in the UK, my actor friends that are there. Like
Yeah.
it's been such a great experience.
Did you think the show's gonna be this huge after like the first season premiered? Because like it went like a couple episodes in, all of a sudden it's like everybody's talking about it.
But we didn't feel that because when it came out in LA, there was a few billboards out here. It was like, okay, cool, cool, cool. And then
Yeah.
when we got to season 2, we were filming season 2. Then the awards started rolling through. Then everybody started watching it. And then it really blew up. But we were still in London. And then when we came back, I came back here like maybe like 3 weeks ago. So I haven't we just finished filming season 2.
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh my God, this is like, wow, it really actually blew up. I'm sitting in coffee shops again, and then I hear people talking about Ted Lasso. I'm like, what? Crazy.
Have you been recognized from the show?
Not really, because season 1, it's pretty small. My part is pretty small, but maybe for season 2, but we'll see. We'll see.
So, so after the show, how long were you? First of all, like how long were you in London for season 2 to film it?
For season 2, 6.5 months. Yeah.
For eight episodes, 10. What are they doing for the season 2?
I think it's so funny, but a lot of people are saying 8 episodes. I think it's because the press. I think it's because they sent to the press the first 8 episodes.
Okay.
So a lot of people are thinking it's just 8 episodes and that's it, but it's actually 12.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
2 more than last year.
So, 2 more than last year. Yeah. So you play the goalie, Thierry. So you said last year, I remember you had a smaller part, and this year it kind of sounds like you have a bigger role this year coming up.
Yeah, we would definitely see me a little bit more than season 1. He's the goalkeeper of the team, so definitely going to see a little bit of him.
Yeah. You mentioned you play FIFA and everything, but like, do you have like any background in soccer? Do you enjoy soccer?
No, the funny thing is, at the beginning, Jason was like, "Yeah, so you'll be the goalkeeper of the team," and I was like, I don't know, maybe a striker could be fun or whatever. He's like, "Trust me, be the goalkeeper." I was like, "Okay," and then we started playing, and I was like, "Oh my God, yeah, I'd rather be the goalkeeper because they keep running around and doing a bunch of stuff, and I'm just out there, like just hanging out." So I rather that actually. But no, I've never played before. But I played when I played American football. I was a wide receiver, so I I was catching the ball a lot. So
Okay.
now catching a bigger ball, it's kind of the same thing. It's just the falling that's different.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell us more about that, because like I have a question on here. Like, any challenges playing this character, and how many, like, how often were you on the field filming your scenes for pretty much playing the
Yeah.
goalie?
So what they did is that a lot of the football scenes were shot together, like back to
Okay.
back. So like we would be in the locker rooms doing this, doing that, and then we'd had a whole week of just being out there playing football.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, we're there in January.
Wow. Cold.
Yeah. So it snows. Legit,
Yeah.
there's a scene that where it actually snows. And it's so funny because filming it, we were like, dude, this is not fun. But watching it, it's so cinematic. It's beautiful. It's really, really nice. But the challenges, I'd say that it's like for a goalkeeper, you fall every single take, like you have to stop the ball from coming in.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of impact. So you just have to stay in shape. But apart from that, it's really fun. And then you're by yourself a lot because the players are doing stuff and you goalkeeping, But it's still fun. I love it.
Right. Like, what kind of research do you do to play this? And like, did you, while you were in England, England's huge in soccer, did you get a chance to like watch a game just to get an
Dude,
idea?
we got so lucky, man. We went to the FA Cup this year.
Yeah.
The year prior, we went to a bunch of games, and then I saw. Are you a football fan?
Well, I'm actually from Greece. I grew up.
Oh, nice.
I lived there for 4 years. I mean, I live now in the U.S., but so I grew up around soccer.
Amazing. That's so. So
Yeah.
who's your team?
Well, there's a small team that I like in Greece. It's called Panathinaikos, but they're not as huge. But I usually root for like Manchester U sometimes. I mean, I like it all. So I root for like
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So they brought us to Ajax versus Chelsea,
Okay.
which was like a super crazy game. It was 4-4. Like I think it was 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 red cards. It was an insane game, and that was my first real football game that I watched. I was like, this is such a blast. It was so much fun. And then this year they brought us to the FA Cup. So it was Chelsea versus Leicester. Super fun too. So like I fortunately I got to watch a lot of football, and then actually for season 1 they got me a goalkeeper coach, and it was the coach from
Wow.
Chelsea.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that was crazy. Yeah.
How crazy is the atmosphere to a real like live soccer game like that in Europe? Because I've been to one in Europe before too, and it feels different going to like a regular game in the US. I mean, I don't know how it is in Canada, but it's different there, the atmosphere.
Oh my God, completely different. And they do things that I was like they don't show replays when
Really?
you're there. Yeah, they never show replays, and apparently it's to stop people from fighting and stuff like that. So I was like, wait, what?
Wow.
Because if
Wow.
you show the replay and maybe the player faked something or something like that, people are going to get angry and it's going to lead to stuff. I was like, wow, that's so crazy. But then the FA Cup, it was during COVID, so there weren't that many people in the stadium.
Right.
But it was still absolutely insane. Absolutely.
Speaking of COVID, like how were how difficult was it to like film some of the show during COVID?
Yeah, it was that was the one thing that like wasn't that much fun. We couldn't hang out with our friends. We're all friends on set, and we couldn't hang out together. We had to always stay apart and wear a mask when we were not in the scene. It just but we can't complain because we were working during this time, and that is a privilege. So we'll take that.
What were you like? What did you do for like the times that you weren't filming and you had the day off? Did
I
you?
love walking around a new city. So like I had a little bit of experience. So first year I lived in Notting Hill. Second year I was in Chelsea. So I just explored, man. I just walked around a lot, and then I started realizing that I love architecture, and I realized that the doors in London are so much better than North America. So I started like taking pictures of doors of like people's front doors. It just became my little thing, but it was fun. I love London.
You mentioned that you knew Jason and you've worked with him before. How was it working like with him on the show, and how was it working with like interacting with the other cast members?
Jason is an absolute genius. Like he takes care of the show. Like he writes it. He knows where it's going. He's so knowledgeable in comedy. Every scene that we have where we're in the locker room, it's like he's like a music conductor, like an orchestra conductor, because he'll be like, okay, so you have to say this line at this moment. You say it like this because it has to be, you have to take the air out of the room and you have to do this and that. So he's like, he has it all in his mind and he's able to actually tell you exactly when and why to do it. He's just a genius when it comes to that. And he's such a generous human being, not with like money or anything, but just like with his time. If you ask him a question about acting or about your character or whatever it is, he'll answer you in details, like what's going on and why this is that and stuff like that. So he's an amazing human being. And then the other guys, like we became super close. Like Tahib Jimo, the one who plays Sam, or the one who plays Jamie Tart, Phil, even Roy, Mohash, all of them, Christo, they're like we're all boys now. We're like trying to do like trips all together and stuff like
That's
that.
awesome.
Yeah.
Out of them, anybody have any like actual soccer background?
Mohash is like the best player. Like he was, like he played pro. Okay. Phil Dunster is also good. I would say that the worst is Tahib. Tahib was like not a good player.
So even you can hang with them.
Oh yeah. Most definitely. I can hang with them.
Yeah. We're about while you were filming, like when you mentioned Jason and everything, like any like behind the scene bloopers that you guys couldn't hold it, also start laughing and you had to redo the set, redo the scene.
For season 1, it was the scene where we did where I say midnight poutine, like when we all have to give him plays, like trick plays that we had.
Yeah.
He was not in the room where because this was not scripted. It was basically all the players improvised something that was on the script. And so when we got to filming it, it was only Brendan Hunt that was with us, which is the guy who plays Coach Beard. So he was with us and he was like, okay, so we're all going to improv names and then I'm going to write them on the board. So think about something to improv. And we all thought of like the name of a trick play. And then Jason walked in and then they pressed record and then we all said it to him and he was all improving reactions to that. And he absolutely killed it. Like we were dying every take. We were like, bro, what are you doing? Like every take you're changing it. It's always different. He's so good with that.
In season 1, there's a scene with you where he can't pronounce your name.
Yeah, which is the funny thing is that's a scene that actually really happened. Because,
really?
Yeah. When I got to London and I was like, so what's my character name? And then he's like, oh, so the character name is going to be Thierry Zoreaux. And I'm like, oh, Zoreaux. He's like, yeah, Zoreaux. I'm like, no, it's Zoreaux. He's like, yeah, Zoreaux. I'm like, no, bro, listen, Zoreaux. And then he's like, right away, he didn't even say anything. He pulled out his notepad and then started writing. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, dude, that's a scene.
That's all. So that's probably what he does all day. He probably just sits there and writes things.
Exactly. He writes scenes all day.
So what do you hope for after the listeners and the viewers watch season 2?
I would say that season 1 was a comedy, and I think season 2 is like a dramedy. Okay. Like it's I think people are going to be overwhelmed with like, oh my God, this is it's on to me, I think it's on a completely other level. I think season 1 was amazing. It's like such a good show, so smart. It's jokes after jokes. Season 2 is like real life. Wow. It's amazing. I think it's so much better than season 1.
Yeah. Does he have any ideas for a season 3? Has he thought about it already? Has he said anything to you?
Again, Jason is a genius. Like we were playing FIFA maybe last August, and he was telling me things about season 3, and I was like, "What? Like, what are you talking?"
Oh, so he's ahead. He's
ahead, man. He's a genius. Awesome. He's a genius.
That's awesome. Mo, lastly, how can the listeners and the viewers find you on social media?
So my Twitter handle is Mo Thursday, and my Instagram is Mo Thursday Love. So MOE Thursday Love, and it's Thursday Love because in French my name is Jeudy-Lamour, so it's basically Thursday Love.
That's awesome. Well, man, this was great, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Dude, thank you for having me, man.